What's up, guys? It's Ruka here.
And Steve here, it's been a while.
And Michael.
Hello.
And Germ might join us, he might not. You said he was busy, yeah?
Yep, magic.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it looks like it's mainly going to be the three of us for this discussion video. It's been a long while since we've done one. Obviously, the last group video that we did was our New Year's End special, so...
Half a year.
How you guys been this first
Oh,
half of the year?
Good.
good.
Nothing special. Good.
Got a job. So,
Cool.
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that's pretty much it.
Well, all right then. We've got quite a bit to talk about. So, why don't we start with what has probably been one of the most talked about anime titles to come out this year, and that is Oshinoko. You've probably heard about this. If you haven't seen it, or if you have, you've just been hearing all the talk going on about several things regarding this anime and what it talks about in terms of like the idol and entertainment industry. So let's talk about that.
Let's do so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, was that your camera, Mike?
Yeah, I thought it was on already.
Okay.
Anyway, I haven't seen the anime myself, so I'll just let you guys talk about it.
Okay, yeah. For me, personally, I had heard a lot of talk about this title when it was, like, announced that it was getting an anime. There was a lot of hype regarding it. I was a little apprehensive at first because, like, even though I didn't know exactly the details of what was going on, because a lot of people talking about it were really good about not spoiling what happens in volume 1 specifically, which is basically the whole first episode, which is like 90 minutes. It's practically a mini movie.
Yep.
Like, they didn't spoil any of what happens, although I could kind of infer for myself, like, I could kind of get an idea of maybe I know what's going on here. But I'll say, regardless, it lived up to the hype, and when what did happen that I kind of inferred was going to happen in the show, the way they executed it in the anime in particular was spectacular. Like, the way it was shot and animated and voice acted especially, the voice actress for Takahashi Rie, I love her to pieces. I've seen her in so many other anime works, and I know that she is phenomenal when it comes to voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
To give like an example, the both of you will probably know, in Konosuba, she is Megumin, the explosion-loving Crimson Witch. So, yeah, the fact that she has that kind of range and like doing comedic roles and then also dramatic roles like this is mind-blowing to me. So yeah, the premise of the show, when I first heard it, I was like, what? This sounds interesting. So obviously I went into the first episode with like morbid curiosity, not knowing what direction they were going to go with this. But then by the end, I was immediately hooked. I want to see what they're going to do with this. I want to see where it goes from here. I want to see this whole mystery play out, because there is a kind of mystery element that's added to the end of like, I don't want to give it away. Is it all right for me to talk about spoilers on here? Well, no, I don't want. I don't want to spoil it for Michael. I don't want to spoil it.
I mean, spoil it, because I have read a bit of the manga already, so I kind of have a vague idea of what happens, but I haven't watched the anime itself yet. So...
Okay, yeah, so we're gonna officially go into spoiler territory. We'll probably once the video's up, I'll put a timestamp so you guys, if any of you want to avoid the spoiler talk, if you haven't seen this anime yet, you can skip that section and then we can move on from there. So yeah, basically the premise of the show that starts from the first episode is the main idol character, who is 16, I believe, at the start of the anime, she gets pregnant
Mm.
and goes to this doctor, this gynecologist, saying like, "Hey, I want to have this baby, but I don't want to make it public yet. So I'm going to keep this kid a secret, but I want you to help me." And the doctor is a fan of hers. He's a fan of I specifically and has been supporting her for some time. So he's like, "Okay, I'll do it." Then he gets killed off in the first episode. Like, he gets killed off, like, as I is starting to have her baby, and we don't know who it is for a while who did it, but he gets reincarnated as one of her children, because she ends up having twins, and he figures out that not only was he reincarnated, but his twin sister was also someone who's reincarnated. They don't know who each other are, but the twin sister is actually a patient that he used to care for and was actually the person who got her into I, because she was also a fan of her. So the two of them are reincarnated as her twin children. And also, I love the design of these characters, because obviously you see I's visuals of like the purple hair and the stars in her eyes is like a super striking visual. And then for when they're children, Aqua and Ruby, they each have one of the stars in only one of their eyes, with the red and the blue signifying who's who. I think that's a super cute visual design. So for a while, it's like, for a while, it's just like really entertaining to see like these two having been reincarnated as her kids and some of the shenanigans that they get up to. There's one scene that's so hilarious where they go to one of her concerts and they're kind of like posing as their like manager's kids, because again, it's not public that I has had children. And then in the middle of the performance, they start doing otage in their little baby carrier thing with the light sticks and everything, going goo goo gaga goo goo gaga. It is hilarious. I love that visual so much. But yeah, then towards the end of episode 1, the stalker guy who was stalking Ai when she was at the hospital and ended up killing the doctor when he initially got killed, he comes back, shows up at Ai's apartment, and just kills her. And again, the way that they executed this scene, from like Ria's voice acting as Ai to everything that the character was saying during that scene as she was like at her dying breath, was like, I didn't cry, but I teared up. I legit teared up because it was so well done. So yeah, it is quite of a shock. That's like the main shock factor of like the first episode, is like you see this character of Ai, who's like this main idol girl, and you think, oh, she's gonna be the protagonist, she's gonna be in the show for a long time, and they just kill her off in the first episode. It's that kind of, it's like, it kind of made me think back to, if you remember in season 5 in Majiska Gakuen, where they made a big deal about showing Paruru's character Salt and all the promotional stuff for this, where you think like, oh, she's gonna be the main character of this, they're gonna show her for a majority of the show, and then they kill her off at the end of the first episode. It's kind of like that. So
Yeah.
then the mystery becomes that Aqua, who is the son, he kind of starts to figure out like, wait, how did this guy know of Ai's address, of where she's living? How did he get this information that nobody else should know of? And he kind of deduces that the only person who could have given this guy her address was their biological father. Whoever the baby daddy was, for some reason, is doing this. And so it basically becomes a revenge story for Agua. He's like, I'm gonna find this guy who did this, and I am going to exact my vengeance on him. So yeah, it just that plot hook immediately just got me into like, okay, I have to see what they're gonna do with this now. Because that's such an interesting twist to go for. So yeah, basically the rest of the show now has been following both Aqua and Ruby, both individually, like Ruby wanting to go for stardom, wanting to be an idol like her mother was because she looked up to her so much, and Aqua going into the entertainment industry with ulterior motives of finding their biological father. So, yeah, it has been so interesting to see this dynamic of the two of them and seeing how the plot unfolds from this. It's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, for me, kind of similar to you, like I heard about Oshinoko just like a little bit when it was like announced for the anime, but I didn't know anything about the show. What so or the manga as well whatsoever. So getting into the anime, I was actually completely blind. The only thing that I knew was that it was about the idols and the entertainment industry. Um, so just going in the first episode, almost completely blind, I was just shocked of how all the turn of events that just happened
Mhm.
with especially with like I dying
Mhm.
at the end of the first episode. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
I was so confused and I was like, and the animation is so good for this show as well because like just seeing like the life get sucked out of her eyes when she died,
Oh, yeah.
it was just so creepy and just seeing her just deathless body and it was just
Uh-huh.
oh
It really
but it was
does,
so
like,
good.
it's so good at
Oh,
giving, like, so much detail to where everything looks beautiful and kinda off-putting at the same time. Like, there was that one scene in the first episode where Kid Aqua was filming a movie, and when he was doing this part, the close-up that it had on his face as he's just looking up at this woman and that kinda, like, that eeriness of, like, yeah,
mm,
he kind of explained it himself. It's the fact that like he has an adult mind, an adult soul, but he's in this little kid's body and he's acting so like it feels off. It feels very eerie. So like yeah, the animation is very good at like making stuff look extremely beautiful, extremely pretty, but then for the harder hitting, darker moments like that, it feels
mm.
so off-putting to look at. Off-put in
And
a good
then
way though, in a good way. It sucks you in.
so I also bought the first volume of the manga because I believe that's the only volume that's out. I'm not sure if
That
episode 2 is or volume 2 is out yet
Oh.
in English, but they did change like little things compared to the anime.
Mm.
Because in the manga, like at the beginning of each chapter, they have like an interview with each character. So, and it's kind of leading up
Mm.
to you guessing what happened to I
Ah.
instead. So
So
instead of just
instead,
going
with the
straight
anime,
through,
when it cuts those out, it leaves a bit more of a mystery. So when you watch the anime
yeah,
and you don't know about those interviews, you're kind of left a bit more in the dark about what actually happened until you get to that scene.
yeah, you're just
Gotcha.
completely blind what happens. But in the manga, you can see that something has happened during because of these interviews, but you just don't
Ah.
know what. So that's
Okay.
like one of the things that they changed
That's
in the manga
interesting
compared to the anime,
though.
and it was probably for the better too,
Yeah.
because it made the shock value a lot
Mhm.
higher, at
Mhm.
least for me. Um, and then there's just one thing that like I'm really confused about still
Mm.
is like I can understand like the doctor being reincarnated because he died like at that moment, but I just don't understand how Ruby's reincarnation happened because she
Sarina.
died 4 years. Yeah, because she died 4 years prior. So like
Ah.
that's the only thing that I'm like really confused about of how that actually works.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, although I guess obviously, the two of us we're not like super familiar with obviously the religion regarding like Buddhism, Shintoism, reincarnation, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
But that was like the one
regardless of the
thing.
logistics, I think it works because again, the fact that you have these two who were in their past lives so deeply connected and looked up to Ai, and now the two of them being reborn as her children. And again, them not knowing each other is an interesting angle on it too. Like it makes me wonder what the heck are they going to do? How are they going to react if they do find out who they are
I
or
feel
who
like
they
they
were?
eventually have to find out, though.
Yeah, I feel like
They're gonna have
eventually
to.
that's gonna come up. I don't know if they'll bring it up in the anime because like how long is the anime going on? Because we're at season 1 right now, and that's
11
usually
episodes.
oh,
So
11 episodes. Okay.
it has 3 more episodes left for the first season.
Yeah, I was about to say, have they
Because
confirmed the second season yet?
n no, they have not, but based on where they are volume-wise, there's still a lot more
Hmm.
source material to adapt. So
Okay, okay.
I don't see why it wouldn't get a second season, as seeing how popular the show
Oh,
is.
yeah. Yeah, I can see that too. And of course, with popular anime as well like this, there is bound to be controversy surrounding it. So, let's talk about episodes 6 and 7, because that is
Okay.
mainly where it talks about what happens with the character of Akane Kurokawa.
Mhm.
And I remember you telling me before I even watched the anime, because I was like kind of behind, I was doing other stuff, and you
Mhm.
told me like the events that this anime were based off of is so obvious, and I was like, okay, I need to see this.
Yep.
And even as I
I
was watching the anime, I eventually figured out, oh yeah, I know what this is based off of. I know what they're referring to.
Yep. I immediately knew.
Hmm.
I immediately knew because I was a Terrace House fan, and I watched that weekly, so I understood immediately.
Yep, and obviously we talked about it on here previously on the channel, but yeah. And plus also I did check for the timeline of like when the manga initially came out, and the timelines did line up. So yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, no more beating around the bush. Episodes 6 and 7 regarding what happens with Akane Kurokawa in that episode were mainly, it looked like it was mainly referring to the events that happened with the show Terrace House and the controversy surrounding Hana Kimura, who, after said controversy kind of tanked her career, she ultimately ended up taking her life.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Cyberbullied to death.
uh-huh. Obviously, circumstances are a little bit different, but yeah, basically
Mm,
what happened, yeah.
mhm. And, like, I've been watching a couple other people's videos, and I've seen that people saying that, like, it's not completely, like, inspired by Hana, eh, but to me, it just watching all the events, it's like, I don't see how it couldn't be, but apparently it's not confirmed that the inspiration was Hana by the actual author.
Right,
So I gotta put that out there, but it's just so hard for me not to believe that that was the inspiration based on how everything went, because it
right,
was, like, almost down to a T.
right. Even, I would say, even if they weren't consciously trying to base it off of those events, I think the fact that, like, that event in particular and just the idea of like when idols or celebrities, when they do have these controversies occur with them, that they get harassed online and they eventually end up taking their own lives, is a very
Mm,
topical point that they did want to bring it up, because the anime, the show, has been very good about showing like some of the uglier sides of the industry of like, yeah, it is cool to see these people that they are able to perform and do work and stuff like that, but there is a lot more going on behind the scenes that a lot of people are not aware of. And with this, it feels like I think what they did with it was very respectful, because they were like, yeah, this can happen and it absolutely sucks, but it does show at the end like Aqua did come in and like save her, and then by the following episode the rest of them were able to console her, comfort her, so that it does
Mm.
improve her mental health a little bit. She does end up going on a break from the show that they were filming at the time, but the rest of the cast members are like, hey, we're here for you. It's okay. You don't have to be going through
Mm.
this alone. It's like they're able to comfort her with that, which I think that's a really good showing of like, yeah, this stuff
Mm.
can happen and it sucks, but there are people, if people do reach out, whether it be the person who is suffering or anyone who knows that person, like, just the fact that they were reaching out to be like, hey, we're here for you, is like, that's a really good, hopeful sign, I think, too. That sort of matters, like, when it does
Mm.
occur. Especially for someone so young like her, too. Like, they made it a point showing Akane just, like, how much of a hard worker that she actually was, that she was being kind of pushed to, like, her breaking point, showing, like, just how overly diligent that she was, just
Mm.
trying to do a good job with her work.
Mm. And I do have to say, actually, Hana's mother actually kind of was like upset
I did
with the
hear
episode
about
and all of
that,
the events.
yeah.
So because of how kind of similar it was, and to be fair, she probably did not heard of Oshinoko before because it was just like a smaller manga when this first happened, and then all of a sudden this anime releases, and then she sees the events. Like I can understand like her point of view
Mm,
about her being upset, but I have to play devil's advocate here and just getting the message out that hopefully this doesn't ever happen again
right,
to prevent another suicide like this, I believe is kind of more important with the message.
right.
I don't really I know that's kind of like horrible for me to say, but I feel like this was needed to be said because it's
No,
such a
that's
sensitive topic.
absolutely understandable because this anime is apologetic. Again, we know like how shocking it is, like just from the first episode, about like how like this doesn't always happen, but it can happen. There are fans who like they can get pushed to their own breaking point and end up harassing or even hurting the idols that they care about. It's like that can happen. So again, showing this, and again, it's in a respectful way. I think this would have been worse if they had like basically just flanderized the whole situation, like had it go
Mhm.
too over the top and like too like pushed
Mhm.
it. They could have pushed it a step too far, but they didn't.
They did it in the most realistic way.
Right, right, that's it.
Mhm. And also, like, even though this is supposed to be like about idols, to me it feels like we barely have anything about idol content other than like the first episode. Because since episode 2 on, it's mainly been about acting
Right.
and behind the scenes of
It's been
filming.
kind of going
So
back and forth because again, Ruby's plot line is about basically becoming an idol herself and kind of
mm,
it ends up becoming like
it,
reestablishing the group that I was a part
mm,
of. And
but that's kind of
yeah,
more
it's
into the background than compared to what Aqua's like story is. I feel.
yeah, yeah. I kind of get what you mean by that. I feel like these next couple of episodes could go back to focusing on that more because at the end of the latest episode, he went up to one of his other cast members who is a YouTuber and kind of basically he heard her say like I wanted to be an idol myself, but I kind of gave up on that dream, and he was like, "Well, we're making an idol group and we're looking for members. Do you want to become
Mm.
a part of this group now?" And so that's kind of the cliffhanger it left on in the latest episode. So I feel
Mm.
like maybe these last couple of episodes will go back to, maybe we'll focus a little bit more on Ruby and the Bikomachi subplot to focus on that side more again.
Possibly. I don't
Mm.
know what's happened in the source material, so I have no idea. This is all a mystery to me.
No, yeah, me neither, but I'm looking forward to it again. I've just been loving this so much.
Now, I'm just kind of intrigued. What do you think of like Aqua's character? overall, because personally to me, like within the first couple episodes, like it kind of annoyed me that he was kind of getting in his sister's way. Like I understand that like he was trying to like wants to protect her because what happened with but
Mm.
him like personally getting involved, making the phone, acting like he's management of a company, turning her dreams down to be an idol. Like I feel like that's going too far.
Mm.
Sometimes he just goes too far in the
Yeah,
business that he shouldn't
yeah,
be involved
I
in.
I get what you mean by that. I think especially because, considering the fact that like inside he is basically by this point a depressed adult man in a angsty teen's body. But yeah, it's like I guess the situation how I would put it is that while I don't agree with the methods, I understand the reason. It's like I can see where he's coming from, especially knowing like sort of the traumatic stuff that they had been through and him previously being an adult, he knows he has kind of more of that cynical side of like even before he got into I in the first place, he was kind of, just a cynical adult male and stuff like that. So it's 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 one of those situations that again I think makes it super interesting for his character where it's like I understand where he's coming from and why he has this concern, but that doesn't mean I agree with him doing what he's doing. Cuz yeah, like you said, just calling the people and having them like turn down her offers of like her trying to get into another idol group or another idol agency to become an idol is just like that's taking it a bit too far.
Mike, do you have any opinions so far based on what you've read in the manga at all? I think he's going upstairs or something.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, good show so far. Do you want to talk about the opening and ending?
Oh, yes.
Because those are definitely like you cannot leave those out if you're talking about Oshinoko.
Absolutely. Like the Idol music video, I actually watched the music video before I watched the first episode of the anime just cuz I was super curious.
I did not. I waited until after.
Well, luckily the music video doesn't give too much away, but yeah. Idol is such a good song, and they released the English version of it too recently. So we have the Japanese and the English version of it.
Yeah, because the song was so popular
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
Yoasobi ended up releasing an English version, and from what I know, that it's apparently seemingly a direct translation, and it's done so well. Like
Mm.
I ended up watching a
Mm.
reaction video of these people like comparing like the Japanese and English version. Like they watched the English version, and then they were just comparing it to the Japanese version with the lyrics, and they were stating how like much of like a genius Yoasobi is
Mm.
in the person that has like helped translate the lyrics,
Mhm.
because being able to still rhyme in a different language with a direct translation
Right.
is nothing else but genius.
Yeah, like that was something I really enjoyed, especially like during the second verse, during like the sorta not exactly rap, but like the talk singing part where it's like that wordplay in the Japanese version it's phenomenal. But then when I heard the English version, I'm like, it was different, but it still like kept that wordplay and I thought, oh, this sounds so good. So yeah, again, like that song was really good too about kind of mixing like because it is very much like it does have that brighter cutesy idol like image but then it mixed in like these darker elements. There are like these loud banging brassy moments or like the operatic chorus singing. It's like
Mhm.
there's so many moments like that mixed in that make the song super interesting and it just fits the tone of the show super well.
And even though like I haven't heard a lot of Yoasobi's music,
Mm.
I'm seeing like a similar pattern with at least like their popular songs that they release, where people initially will think like it's a very happy song in Japanese because they don't understand the lyrics.
Mm.
But then when you actually look at the lyrics, it's actually really dark. Because I think it was what her past popular song. I don't remember what it was from. It was a song that was like about suicide or something, where she sung it like really happily and energetic. I don't know what the song name is. I believe that song she also did or they did in English um
Mm.
version of that song.
I wonder. I don't know if I've heard that one, but I've heard a couple of songs from YOASOBI. Let's see. There's The Blessing, which was for the Gundam series Witch of Mercury. I've heard both versions of that.
Oh, yep, yep.
There's Kaibutsu. Kaibutsu is really good.
I can
And
look this up really fast.
Yoni Akeru. Yoni Akeru? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Yoru Niakeru. Or
Oh, was it that one?
I believe it was that song that they did an English version of
Oh.
the
Oh, yeah,
song.
I
It's
think
been
it
a while
was.
since I've
Yeah.
heard the English version of it. I remember I remember hearing a cover version of it by Sally Amaki.
Of
I
course.
think she covered
Of
the
course.
English version of it. It was really good, but it's been a while, so I'll have to like look at it and look at the lyrics again because I don't think it clicked with me like what the song was about when I first heard it, like you said.
hmm
But yeah, that and the ending theme, Mephisto. Oh my gosh. I remember
Did you end up watching the music video
I
for
haven't
that
seen I haven't
by
seen the
Queen Bee?
music video for Mephisto, but I remember watching like a lyric video of it so I could see all the lyrics for it. And I saw a comment under it that just summed up my thoughts for it perfectly, where it said, "The opening theme Idol is all about I. The ending theme Mephisto is all about the twins."
Hmm.
Especially like because I kept thinking about that ending lyric that it sings at the end where they mentioned Hoshinoko, which it meant children of the
Mm.
stars, and how that sounds similar to Oshinoko. So I remembered that and I was like,
It's a
that's
one-letter
neat. That's
difference.
neat.
I ended
Literally
up watching.
one letter difference. But no,
I
I
ended
have
up watching the
not
music video
seen.
for Mephisto.
Oh, is it good?
So it is. I mean, it's good. It's definitely about an idol doing like their stage. They're performing a solo idol,
Hmm.
and then eventually, the same thing happens to that idol. What happened to I
What?
at the end of the music video?
Oh,
So
okay.
even the music video is directly related to the message of Oshinoko.
Okay, yeah, I definitely need to check that out then, because I haven't seen it yet.
So yeah, um, I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. So what how do you think that it portrays like idols? Because I know that like people that don't know anything about idols, and then like people that already don't
Mm.
like idols that hate on idols. This is just gonna add more to being like idol culture is bad because it's only bringing so far only bringing up the dark sides
Hmm.
of the industry, like
Hmm.
stalker fans, very obsessive fans, fans hurting idols, being very possessive.
I mean, even taking that out of let's take that big part out of the equation because
Mm.
what else does it show about idols? It shows like we see a little bit of like I with her group like they're filming for a TV
Mm,
show or they're preparing for
Mm.
a live show in front of fans and stuff like that. So it shows a little bit of that and they even talk about like yeah, the members themselves aren't really that close in the group, which like I know that happens. Sometimes members end up forming a really close bond with each other and they become really good friends, but then sometimes it's just mainly a work relationship and they're not really that close outside of work and stuff like that. I know that happens. And then, once we get to after episode 1 where it shows like Ruby wanting to go out and pursue an idol career, they talk a lot about, like certain, what certain agencies do is, not exactly the how do I put this? It's like I think again it's not really, I wouldn't say it's a bad negative representation of idols. It's just more like a realistic one where it's a combination of both positive and negative traits coming together. Because
Okay.
even we see that with Ruby, that like even though she went through this extremely traumatic event and she's seen kind of like the darker side of the industry, that like not everything is all sunshine happy sparkles, that when she was really young it's like that's basically all that she knew. She saw this sparkling facade of like these members always smiling and happy and being close friends, and they're going to be super famous and they must get a whole ton of money and stuff like that. All these expectations and presumptions that she have get like broken down over time. But even despite that, even that scene after Ai's funeral, when she's talking to Aqua, she's like, "Do you think I can be an idol like Mama was?" And Aqua telling her it's like it's gonna be a rough time for you because all this, bad. So he's still being cynical and depressed about that. But then she says, "Even so, Mama was shining so bright up there." Like, despite the fact that she has gone through all this and everything that she knew about the idol world is just crumbling in front of her, she's like, I still want to be up on that stage. I still want to get up and shine like Mom did. That's like that's a really good dichotomy that I love about the show too, where it's showing like Aqua being like, being absorbed in the darker side of the industry, and then Ruby coming in and just wanting to shine in the light of it all. That like despite all of that, despite all that she's been through and all that she's seeing, she still wants to go up there and be a shining light, to be an idol, to perform for other people like her mom did. Which again, I love that. I love that dynamic between the two.
I totally agree.
Mhm.
Now, because I kind of want to be idol staff, still sometime in the future.
Mm.
So I kind of have like looking at things like a little bit differently than maybe some people will look at it. So I just wanted to add that. So I'm like very looking at the very niche things of what's said and what's true, what's not true. And I'm actually surprised like a lot of things that they said like are true.
Mm.
Mm. So yeah. Is there anything else to talk about with Oshinoko? I know I had a thought, but then
Mm.
I just forgot.
I mean, I don't have anything else, just that again, kind of like I said, it definitely lived up to the hype that was surrounding it. It is really good, and I've really been enjoying it. So, yeah, I'd say definitely recommend it if you are an Idol fan and you want to see stuff like this, especially if you're into stuff like this where it does go into more of like the more darker inner workings of the industry, where it shows a more realistic portrayal of what it means to be an idol or an entertainer in the industry. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I believe, might be my anime of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, apparently ReZero season 3 is supposed to happen, so
Oh, okay.
later this year. So who knows?
Well, we'll
But most
see.
likely will be my anime of the year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Going on from that, we move over to the Sakamichi side of things because we also have the actress drama, which recently wrapped up. I know Michael told me that we had I think it might be up now, but they had released an epilogue episode
It was like
for.
a summary episode with an added epilogue, but I can't find any links to it. So
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
But yeah, so that wrapped up and we watched it together, and I just thought it'd be absolutely fitting to just put these two together because kind of similar to Oshinoko, Actress does go into more of the darker inner workings of the entertainment industry. Obviously it being more focused on like actors and actresses and
Yeah,
stuff like that, since that is the title of the show. But yeah, it does kind of have those similar elements going into it where again the mystery this time being built upon like, oh, this super famous well-known actress got killed, we don't know who did it, so we're gonna figure out who that is.
mm,
And I gotta say, like,
it was
Borderless
a
I
random.
enjoyed, but they knocked it out of the park with this show. Like, as a follow-up to what Borderless was, they did a phenomenal job of like, gosh, where do I even begin?
I feel like the tension and the emotion was nicely paced
Mhm.
throughout,
Mhm.
and like I feel like it did end nicely.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how else to explain it really. It just felt right as a continuation to Borderless.
Right.
Like it did have a sizable time skip from Borderless. It was like 5 years after the events of
Yeah,
Borderless.
5 years.
So the fact is, a lot happened within those 5 years that we don't really see,
Mhm.
and it. I think the use of flashbacks as well was
Mhm.
nicely
Mhm.
scattered about. It wasn't just put in a certain place for the sake of putting it in there. It had a nice, like, there was a reason for that flashback to be there.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just enjoyed it
Mhm.
a lot, especially considering one of my Oshis is, I would say, the main character
Oh no,
again.
yeah, like definitely I'd say the big thing, like when we think back to Borderless, the big thing with that was like the
Mm,
main thing that it had going for it of like story-wise was that it was four seemingly separate
diff,
plot lines, but then you see them slowly
mm,
converge and become interwoven
mm,
over the course of the show. So towards the end, it ends up that all of them become connected to each other, and we see all these plot lines collide. With Actress, however, they keep it concise. We have one storyline. There's definitely a lot of moving parts to it, but
mm,
they knew where to focus it, and
mm,
the main focus definitely was the relationship between Hikaru and Kyonko's character with Kiri and Nao.
mm,
It focused a lot on their relationship. Even the flashbacks, like you were saying, a lot of it was focused on Nao and Kiri, and especially Nao as well, where she was coming
mm,
from, kind of the mental state that she was in, because it does talk about like, a little bit before the show starts, like she wasn't in the best mental place for a
mm,
while because she was working as a police officer for a while, but
mm,
then she quit because there was a lot of stuff going on in her personal life, like with her mom being sick and having to try and take care
mm,
of her, and it ended up her getting depressed. She kind of fell out of touch with Kitty for a while.
mm. I
So,
think the last time, no, this is spoilers.
hmm,
Yeah, I think the last time she ever talked to Kiri before like the kidnapping happened
hmm,
was 3 months before. I think it was 3 months before
Yeah, 3 months.
drama started, where she saw Kiri's recent play, and she met Kiri's roommate Miki, who ends up having a semi-large part to play in the drama.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, like a lot of Nao's kind of character arc is finding who she is, really, because she also said that she also felt like there was a huge divide between her and Kiri, because Kiri's already doing stuff that she really enjoyed, while she's just there trying to figure out who she really wants to be.
Mm.
And I think that also kind of drifted her relationship with her own mother apart as well, because she didn't really want to tell her mom what was really going on,
Mm.
and it only took a conversation with Kotane, who's played by Yuipon,
Mm.
for Nao's mom to understand what was really going on behind the scenes. And I think, as you said, this drama was kind of portraying the behind the scenes of like acting
Mm-hmm.
and the like. But at the same time, I feel like the drama was really going on about identity as well,
Mm.
especially with Nao's character, but also with like all the other characters as well. If you think about it, at
Yeah,
the end of
yeah.
the
I'd
day.
say that's definitely a big thing too regarding identity, because that's one of the big things we learn about with the character of Kana, who's played
Mm.
by Marika.
Itoriri. Nope.
Ririka,
Itoririka.
Ririka,
Yeah.
sorry. I mixed those two names
Ririka.
together.
Yeah. Carry on.
But yeah, yeah, it's like identity definitely plays a big part in it when we do learn about more of who she was before she
Mm.
was this huge big name actress, and like kind of where that whole persona that she takes on as an
Mm.
actress comes from as well, was super super interesting.
Mm.
Like, I'd say also a big theme of this was also with families and family
Mm.
dynamics, because we see a lot of that between like Nao's relationship with her mom, Kitty's relationship with her mom.
Relationship with her mom.
Yuipon's character is a mom now and she has a child,
Yeah.
and her sister Kanon is there for a little bit. She doesn't play as big of a role as
No.
she did in
In
Borderless, but
Borderless. Yeah.
she's still there as kind of like a support. Their dad comes in
Mm.
for like one episode, so that's kind of cute to see that dynamic again
Mm.
between them. And even the some of the major revelations regarding Kana and who she is and how she became the
Mm.
person that she is today has to do with her family. So
Mm.
it was that, I'd say that was also like a major theme of it as well.
Mm. The acting was really good as well. Like
Mm.
from a lot of the girls.
Oh no, yeah. I'd say like especially when comparing it to Borderless, because
Mm.
like the acting I'd say definitely improved a lot for a lot of the characters, cuz especially with Nao's character, you feel
Mm.
it's so much more mature now. So
Mm.
like that scene, I remember that scene from early on where it shows her like getting her new job interview with the detective
Mm.
agency that she's a part now, like
Mm.
that scene of like where she's just sitting there and she starts to cry and be like, I just don't want to have any more regrets in my life. It's like that
Mm.
scene was done so well.
It made me cry, honestly. Like, it makes you think, like, what are you living for at the end of the day?
Hmm.
Like, and th- I think that does show a lot of improvement on Jordan's part. Like, considering Borderless was her first drama as
Mhm.
well. Like, I'm hoping she does get more acting jobs in the future because she's really good at it. Like,
Mhm. No, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And
I
again,
could go on all day.
seeing that dynamic between Hikaru and Kyonko, because like Kyonko's
Mm.
acting too, like
Mhm.
obviously I've loved seeing Kyonko's acting in other dramas before this as well, but like here especially because again, because they have that emotional core of like the friendship between Nao and Kiri, like
Mhm.
the scene where like Kyonko is with Rune at her place and kind of talking with her, having to console her about her own insecurities and what she feels is like that was also such a well done scene. Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh. So yeah, all in all, it was really good, a really good, well-paced mystery drama as well because it kept you guessing and like each new
Mhm.
kind of plot thread and clue that kind of came in and like it tied it up so well at the end to where it was just like it was a really satisfying ending.
Anything else to say? Because I don't really have anything else to say.
Nope. Let's see. I'm gonna go over. I gotta plug up my laptop, but we can start the next discussion, which is also Sakurazaka. I'll let you take that away, Michael.
So, yeah, it was announced at the end of May that the group. No, yeah, that around the end of May that the group will be releasing their sixth single, which we now know is Start Over. We talked about the formation on the channel already, and we've also reacted to the music video already. Yeah, no, the music video was kind of a surprise because we got
Like
it a day.
literally, we had we had gotten finished with the discussion video for the formation, and then
And
the
then I just
next day they posted an announcement of like the music video premiering on YouTube. So we were like, okay then.
yeah, since that reaction video there was quite a lot of news, I guess, that
Mhm.
came out. Like the common coupling song would be the third gen song. So the coupling song that appears on all types. And we got information on the center, and that's Yamashita Shizuki.
Ooh.
I'm kind of excited because she is one of my third gen Oshis.
Ah, okay.
Aside from that, nothing else has been announced. Like not the title, not the formation. That will come later. So there's that. The cover jacket artwork has released already as well.
It looks really good too. Didn't they
Hmm.
say they used like some sort of AI generated technology to do some of the effects that were on that?
I think so, and I would have to do a bit of research on that. But
Mm.
yes, they did.
It looks really cool.
It looks really good.
Mhm.
Um, the the solo artist photos as well have come out. I do like the uniform this time around as well.
Mm.
Uh, not much white,
Mm.
except for the third gen outfits that are completely white. I'll
Mhm.
send them over.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and the
Oh.
and then the most recent piece of news that came out yesterday was the bonus photo videos for the DVDs and the respective types. So types A and B will have footage from the group's second year anniversary concert,
Mm.
and then types C and D will be from the third gen's Omotenashikai. So types B and D are just lives. Type A will have a second footage like quiz that the members did, and then Takahiro Sensei going through like certain songs as well. So as well as the opening. For the Omotenashi there was like a 2-minute show, dance track, MC, variety corner, and then a fashion show as well. So I'm actually more interested in the second year anniversary because we did get a stream of the Omotenashi, but yeah, considering I did buy merch from the group second year anniversary, I've been wanting to watch it for a while now. But yeah, I'm actually excited for this release just cause it's, as the title suggests, a new start for the group, I guess. And considering the center is somebody that everybody wanted to see as center as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, June 28th, I'm excited for. There's going to be a performance on the 19th on Countdown TV's Live.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm excited for that too.
Yeah. The other news is that they're performing at Rock in Japan Festival this year as well.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed, because last year they couldn't because there was a typhoon in Japan.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
And then July 1st they're performing on the Music Day as well. So
Ooh.
let's see how many performances and start over we can get in the next month, shall we?
That'll be awesome. Yeah. Also, like, quick shout out, because we got to talk about when we did our reaction video. The views that it has been getting since we put it up is like ridiculous, and we're so freaking happy about it.
Yeah, I was not expecting that many views, honestly.
Especially like we've been getting so many Japanese comments as well who have been enjoying this. So like, yeah, マジでありがとうございます。すげえな。It seriously blew me away, but it makes me so happy. Like that's currently for the reaction channel too. That's like our most viewed video right now on the reaction channel. So that makes me incredibly happy.
I'm done.
All right then. All right, I guess we can move on next a little bit to the K-pop side, so I can give a bit of a quick update on my two alt groups. So Dreamcatcher, I'll start with them just really quick. They recently had their comeback with their new mini album, Apocalypse from Us. So this is the final installment of the Apocalypse trilogy that started last year. And they recently wrapped up promotions for that. They've mainly just been doing like fan meetings and some other side stuff like radio appearances and stuff like that. But yeah, this mini again, they knocked it out of the park with this one. They essentially went back to their roots with this one. They kind of brought back that kind of old school J-rock inspired sound that they were known for, but it feels a lot more different this time because oh man, like for one, there's kind of that emotional core for the song for Bon Voyage, especially when you think about just like everything that the group has been through and like especially from their success last year, which was incredible. But yeah, kind of having that emotional core for the song was but still being like very uplifting was like it was interesting because like if you've seen my reaction video to it, I was kind of just left speechless and I didn't know how to describe my feelings for it at first, but I finally came up with the word for it. It felt cathartic. Like like, at other points, it's, like, where it felt like I would be, like, so overwhelmed and hyped up and stuff like that, where I'd still have, like, that height in emotion. It's like, for this, it just felt more like, it felt more like very cathartic to kind of get through that with all the excitement that I did have to just have all that come out, and then seeing what they were doing with it, which was like, it was so cool the direction that they took with it. And again, kind of going back to their roots of their more rock inspired sound rather than having like a ton of EDM and stuff like that. What they've been doing with recent stuff was like, it was so cool to see, and it did make me just super happy when I saw it. And the B-sides as well is like crazy good for this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, Propose I'm surprised it's not a full English song, because the majority of it is in English. But but Dami, like, still killed the rapping part in it, which was amazing. So, yeah, as of right now, a lot of the fandom is talking about, speculating about, maybe they're going to be doing an Asian tour. A lot of Asian fans are kind of keeping their fingers crossed, because they already had their US tour and then a European tour, so a lot of people are hoping for an Asian tour, especially with some speculation about them possibly going to like a concert event or something in Manila in the Philippines. They might be performing there for something. Again, it's still kind of up in the air, but regardless, a lot of fans are hopeful for that they are going to do an Asian tour next, which I feel like would be the next logical step. But yeah, Michael, I actually remember you were listening to the album once, and so I was kind of listening it
Mm,
along with you on Spotify, if you have any thoughts to share on it.
not really. Because considering I'm not really into the group as much as you are, but I did really enjoy the music itself,
Mm,
though I don't have anything specific to say about it. I did really enjoy it as a
alright,
non-fan.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Steve, as well, though, I know I shared the music video with you because I shared it with you, and I was like,
No.
I think you might like this, because you have told me before, time and time again, you prefer Dreamcatcher's older sound, older releases,
Yeah,
rather
so
than their newer stuff.
I'm sorry to say I have not actually listened to the full song. I've only listened to those 10-second part of the teaser.
Uh,
I will listen to it though, because from what those 10 or so seconds sounded like, I really loved it. So I
okay,
will I will
okay.
listen to it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll get on that after we finish recording then. Okay. So yeah, moving on next to the LOONA girls, because there's a lot to talk about with them now. Since I last talked about them during our New Year end discussion, so obviously a lot of stuff kind of happened with them towards the end of 2022. So now what's going on with the girls now, for those of you who probably haven't been keeping up, but yeah, so since we finished that discussion, for the first half of 2023, stuff is kind of starting to look up. So, six of the members now who were still in BBC, they had the injunctions filed for them to suspend their contracts with BlackBerry. And so six of them have now succeeded in those injunctions, and they've basically left BBC and said, goodbye, we're never coming back. Five of them are still there, and BBC is trying to push for stuff to try and promote the group and stuff, but like, we're not buying it anymore. So even the members themselves have just been more focused on, because the majority of them have gotten personal Instagram accounts now. So they're more focused on like just basically with them in BBC not doing work, they're just living life, posting little life updates and stuff like that, with stuff like them going out and doing stuff, meeting up with each other, some of them with their pets and their families and stuff like that. It's super cute. I know that Eve recently started a blog where she's posting stuff on there, and she's working with another music producing team. So that's really cool to see. She was kind of listed on their Instagram account as a producer. I sorry, had to pause to take a breath there. So yeah, while those 5 technically, we haven't really heard from Heju in a while because she's kind of been on hiatus for a while now. So we've been getting little updates with her where again she's been like visiting with family. I think one of her relatives got married recently, so she was like on an Instagram post for one of her relatives during the wedding and stuff like that. So again, hope she's doing good. Hope to see from her soon. But yeah, so for the other girls, 4 of the members now, which is Heejin and the 3 members of Odd Eye Circle, Kim, Lip, Jinsol, and Cherry, my bias. They are now part of a new company. They have joined an agency called Mod House, which, interestingly enough, the CEO of Mod House is someone who has previously worked with BBC and is basically the creator for their storyline and lore of the Looniverse. So that got a lot of talk happening because a lot of people are like, what is going to happen now with this development? And the content that we have been getting out for this new project that they have been starting up called the ARTMS strategy, which is basically Jaden saying like, yeah, I want the LOONA girls to come here because I want to still do stuff with them, which is amazing. A lot of new stuff regarding like Jaden and some of the projects that like previously we thought were lost to time, we're never going to see. There's still a chance that we could get them. And so a lot of fans have been hyped up for that. So yeah, they've mainly just been posting more vlog content now of the members going on trips. Like some of them went to Busan, some of them went to Seoul and went to like a shooting range and stuff like that. So we've just been mostly seeing more casual stuff like that. But we know that there is new music coming out. We know that OEC is making a comeback very soon. We know that Heejin is prepping some solo stuff. Chu, who is a part of her own new company now, she joined a newly developed agency and she's going to be their first artist. She's preparing for a new solo album. I don't know when, but it's going to be sometime for the second half of the year. And then for the remaining members, Hyunjin and Vivi, we haven't heard anything about like what agency they've signed with or anyone that, but we know that they're doing work together. Hyunjin has been pretty transparent about like, oh yeah, I'm doing work. I can't wait to see you guys soon and interact with fans again and stuff like that. She's been very candid about it. Is like, yeah, I'm doing work. And like even the fans kind of teasing her as it's like, where's your agency? she's just kind of playfully candid with them. Also, she's been posting pictures with one of her puppies too, which is like this cute little. I think it's a Shiba, the cutest thing. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening with the LOONA girls that very excited about. Obviously, so excited for ARTMS and whenever Chu's gonna come back, and again, hoping and praying that the other members that whenever they, I think there's still a lot of waiting to be done regarding certain stuff, certain legal stuff between like Chu and BBC, and then obviously the remaining 5 girls who are still in BBC as well, waiting for them to like whatever they decide to do next. But yeah, I'm very hopeful for it, and again, just so looking forward to seeing the new stuff that's going to be coming out with the rest of the LOONA girls who are out of BBC now. So yeah, very excited, love it. Still supporting the boycott because I don't want to give BBC any money because fuck them. I'll say it plain and simple. Yeah, just they're a terrible company. So fuck BlackBerry. There you go. All right. Next up, Steve.
All
I
right.
guess if you want to talk a little bit about this, which I know you shared in the group chat as well, or
Actually, there's something else because it's been 6 months since the beginning of the year.
Mm.
This is gonna sound surprising coming from my mouth. Let's talk about AKB
Oh.
They're getting fucked,
because
honestly.
they
Like,
just disbanded all the teams, but also Doshite Kimi ga Tsukida. That came out this year.
yeah. Mhm.
So
Mm.
I kind of want to talk about that. It's been because I know that we haven't had a chance to talk about Doshite Kimi
Right.
ga Tsukida and
Mhm.
also them just annihilating their teams.
Yeah,
That's just fucked
that's a
up,
decision.
honestly. Like, I don't really follow AKB anymore. But
I mean, I don't really either, but however, I do have to say for Doshite Kimi ga Tsukida, that is probably their best song since Boku Tachi wa Tatakawa Nai, in my opinion.
honestly, I
Oh.
did
By
really like
far,
the
hands
song.
down, that
Yeah,
has been my favorite main single since Boku Tachi wa Tatakawa Nai.
Mm. Yeah, it's really good.
I did really like it, and I don't normally like AKB's newer songs.
Yeah, and neither do I. So,
I'm just saying something.
because it just gives me so much nostalgia for the old classic days with the feel. And just when Hee-chan was announced for the center, I was like, oh no. For me, because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be another K-pop song. I'm like, oh, I don't want this. But then when I saw the visuals and gonna be in like school uniforms, I'm just like, okay, maybe it won't be. And then that music video came out, and I was just like so elated and happy just hearing the type of song it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy. Honestly, probably because I'm still listening to the 48, 46 group songs
Mm.
because I have
Mm.
to, because I feel like for the end of the year stuff,
Mm.
for me listening to all that. So far, that is definitely the best song. And I'm shocked to say that AKB has so far the best song for the 48, 46 group for me. But I still have not listened to Start Over by Sakurazaka yet, so
Mm.
who knows about that.
We'll have to get on that too when we finish. Which yeah, now
Yeah, but
now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this because I don't think I've actually seen the music video for it. But
I
I
actually
do know
haven't
the song
either.
because I did see a performance of it that they did for a music show, and that performance was really good. It's just I just kept putting off watching the music video, I guess because there was other stuff that was coming up that had my attention.
Mm.
So I need to get on that too.
yeah, and then I I'm still in disbelief that AKB just annihilated their team system.
Right? Like
I'm like that makes absolute no sense.
It's
I mean,
been
Team
like a
8.
decade, like, and then just suddenly, yeah, no, we're
bec-
just getting rid of this after
I
14,
don't
15 years.
I don't know what they're gonna do with the theaters shows because
right, it's
that's
like
based on the
this
It's
teams.
this
based on
is
the
a system
teams,
that they've
yeah.
established since the beginning, and to my knowledge, no other group is doing this. The other sister groups are still keeping the team structure and stuff like that. So
Mm.
why are you doing this with the main group who started this from the beginning with this
Guessing it's,
structure?
I'm guessing it's because like now all the different sister groups have like different agencies, I guess, and those agencies and managements have like decided to just leave leave it as is. But
Mm.
AKB new management are just like fuck this. I don't know. It's just
Like, what is going on?
I don't know, but they went to Universal, which inevitably made them create Doshitemo Kimi ga Tsukida, so positive on the music side, at least for now. But on the other flip side, I have no idea what they're doing.
You hear that? I'm
It's
knocking
just
on wood still.
And plus, I believe they just added, was it the 18th gen, 17th, 18th gen?
18th, I
18th
think,
gen?
yeah.
And I'm just like, why? Why did you add another gen? It makes no sense because you're already doing awful. And the 17th gen was just debuted just a little bit ago as well, so I just don't understand the management decisions on AKB's part.
So weird.
I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. And then I guess I'll get into, a little Nagoya stuff. Just briefly talk about that stuff. So, and surprisingly, I haven't been actually like listening to like getting into a lot of new idol stuff because I've been mainly getting into like rock bands and stuff. But like on the idol side, there's been a couple disbandments already that kind of made me sad because I thought that they were gonna go places. So this year we have Anemo, which I believe they're under GMG, which is a label, along with Silent Noise. You know that group that I talked about that I said had good potential? Well, they just announced disbandment. So I'm just like, wow.
Oh.
Here today, gone tomorrow. I'm like, so I'm like, oh, that's great because I really like their music. And then other ones like Daremo Shiranai, I like them. They disbanded. Gritia Allah, they disbanded. And then Kirameki Amparento, they also disbanded, and that's the one with Makiho. Makiho joined them. But the thing is, from that disbandment, um they created 4 groups from that group, I believe. So they just essentially just created separate groups from the one group.
Okay.
And those would be Star Drop Tude, Star Kosumune, Star Shimune, and Star Shinu. So they created 4 groups from, I believe, this one group, which I was shocked to see that.
Okay then.
And then getting into some BSJ news. They actually now have like an official radio program now that I believe started in March. So I was hoping to listen to them, but I can't get the radio station here because it's region blocked from like the one app that they're on. So sad about that. Also, Monami graduated from BSG Project Owns Shoujo, so now only Arisa and Kasumi are the only ones that are left from when I was in Japan. So sad about that. And then BSJ Project also created a new group called Trifolium Bloom. It's a 3-member group. They have yet to debut. So there's that. And then just for the quick thing with Miss Best, because I did that picture just a little while ago. Apparently it's a 2-day event, which even makes it more insanely crazy for me to see how they were able to do this, because
Jesus.
if you look at just the
The
timetable for day 1, that's 20 venues.
Oh, that's for day
That's
1.
Well, it's the same thing
Jesus.
for day 2.
Me too.
So
Oh,
this
Jesus.
is
okay.
literally just So this is just a Nagoya wide
Wow.
music event, idol music
Wow.
event.
Oh my god.
And me being in like event staff, because that's my job now,
Mm.
like security event staff, just because I worked at recently a big music event here in Ohio, Sonic Temple, and that was like a 4-day event with only 3 stages, but there were like a lot of bands still.
Mm.
But just seeing this 20 venues compared to just 3 stages in one area, I'm thinking like, how is this even like done? Because that's just insane about how much
The,
coordination that has to be put in to
Mhm.
this. Oh, and there are a lot of groups that I recognize on this table too. And it's not just groups from Nagoya as well. It's from idol groups from all over
Mm.
the country. So yeah.
Mhm. Well, okay then.
Mhm. I I think that's it on my side.
All right. Well, I guess since we've gotten a lot of the major stuff out of the way, if we can get ready to close things out, if there's any additional recommendations or announcements that you guys want to put out there for people to check out, for us to check out. So, anything you want to put out there as like an additional, aside from what we've already talked about, feel free to share.
Hmm.
oh, regarding Start Over, I
Mm.
forgot to say this when we were discussing the song and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but the music video hit 1 million views in just over a day. I think a day and 6, 7
Oh, yeah,
hours.
that's right. And it's at over 2 million now, right?
And yeah,
Mm.
the international like fan ran page Sakurazaka Central said they wanted to aim for 2 million within 2 weeks, but we hit 2 million within just under a week. So that was the most surprise. Like, I think everybody just wanted to see Karen Center song so bad that this
Yeah.
happened because
The power of
I don't
Karin-chan Center.
I don't think that has ever happened with another Sakurazaka music video. Like,
Mm.
I think up until now, the highest viewed Sakurazaka video was Nazikoi. But
Mm.
even then, it didn't take like a week to get that many views. It took over like the span of months.
Uh-huh.
So I think it just blows my mind like what we as buddies could do when we put our collective brain cell together. like
Our one collective brain cell as
like
buddies.
the single collective brain cell that we have. But yeah, now I think according to I think it was Saito Huyaka's Mobame, she wanted the music video to get to 5 million views before the single's release, and we are getting there. I think we're nearing 3 million views already as
Oh,
well.
okay
So
then.
we're steadily getting there.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's all I have to say now. Just saying.
All right then. Steve, you got anything to share, announce, anything you want to recommend?
Other than go watch Oshinoko. Do it.
Obviously.
Do it. Um, well, I was looking at through my Twitter timeline
Mm.
during like the beginning of Oshinoko when that first aired. There was a manga that was also like recommended by somebody called Boys Abyss. I ended up buying the first volume because
Oh
they said it was
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
also about an idol and it's also dark.
that's
So
right. I remember
yeah.
you
I went
talking about
and
this.
read it, and so far, volume one, it's interesting.
Mm.
There is some sexual scenes in there. That's
Mm.
why it was in a saran wrap or whatever you want to call it, the
Okay.
shrink wrap.
Got it.
So if you're interested in Oshinoko, I would definitely recommend reading this manga as well.
All right then. All right then. In
And
terms for Oh, sorry. Did you have
nope, nope,
something
nope.
else?
No, I'm done.
Okay, then in terms for me, in terms of like announcement slash recommendation, I have started posting videos on my personal channel now, which I haven't done in forever. I think the last video I posted on there was 4 years ago because I started shifting more of my focus mainly towards this channel and then also the reaction channel as well. But yeah, I've been posting some videos up on there now that have mainly been edits. I've essentially just for like the past couple months been really flexing my creative juices, and I'm basically just taking a lot of like footage and stuff from like LOONA music videos and stuff like that and re-editing them. A lot of it has had to do with my TRPG game that I'm running with my friend group because during that time we were like super busy with school and stuff, so we weren't playing for a while, and I had all these new lore ideas concerning the mythology and stuff for it, so I
Lore.
started making a bunch of videos regarding that. And then I started doing some like music video edits where I was like putting some of their music videos set to other songs, which has been really fun to do. And now this is the big one, this is the big announcement. I am doing basically my own little special anniversary project for the group because this year, this August, will be the 5th anniversary of the group's OT12 debut, which was in 2018, which was when they officially like debuted as all 12 after all the pre-debut stuff. So I thought, why not, with all this stuff that is happening with the group and this being a big commemorative year for them, I wanted to put out something special, and I had this idea in my head to put their music video clips and stuff like that to a particular song in my head that I absolutely loved by Lindsey Sterling called The Upside, which is on her ARTMS album. So again, that kind of ties to it because Artemis, goddess of the moon, and there's a whole storyline regarding the Artemis album. There's like a comic strip that came with it. So I thought, this is perfect. Let's just get this out there. And it's pretty much almost done. The one thing that I'm holding out on is the ending because again, now that we've got, some of the LOONA girls are out of BBC and they're starting to prepare for new music, new comebacks and stuff like that. I wanted to hold out and wait and see when they'd release, hopefully again, regardless, like if they don't by the time that I'm ready to like post the video up, I can do something else for the ending, but yeah, that's like the ideal situation is that if they do come back soon and release new footage from it that I can use it for the ending. So, yeah, looking out for that. That is going to be in August. It'll be before my birthday as well because the exact debut date is kind of iffy, kind of because date times, time zones and stuff is weird. So but yeah, I did have a teaser video released for it, so it's gonna be around August the 19th is like the main date that I'm aiming for when I'm gonna get this video out. So yeah, and then also like the fanfic series that I've been working on regarding LOONA that's like based on their lore on Wattpad. I'm also planning on finishing that up soon. So the final chapter, the series finale, is also going to come out the day before that. So yeah, again, look forward to that. I will have a ton of links in the description so you guys can check that out. And yeah, I'd say with that, that wraps up the discussion video for today. So this was awesome. I'm so happy I got to talk to you guys again about this, especially to talk about stuff like we've been wanting to talk about for a while now, especially regarding
Mm.
AKB. Like that completely slipped my mind. It's like, oh yeah, a ton of stuff has been happening with them.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was so much fun, and we hope you guys enjoyed it as always. So if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, share some of your own thoughts and stuff like that of anything we discussed here today, and subscribe to this channel and also our reaction channel over there to check out more content from us. And we'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye bye!